Well, since 1943, the Liberal Party has maintained its core principles, freedom and justice, to an equal playing field for an opportunity for all citizens. They continue their outreach right here in the community in a pursuit for equality. Here now to tell us more is the Community Director of the Liberal Party of New York, Joshua Valentine. We welcome you to the show.
Thank you, Daren. Thank you for having me.
Good. So we hear a lot about the Democratic Party, you hear about the Republican Party, but now the Liberal Party, and we go front and center with you a little bit. So for those people who don't know about the Liberal Party, share a little bit.
Sure. The Liberal Party was established by FDR in 1943 so he could carry the state of New York in the 44 election. It's been, then in 1960, John F. Kennedy won the line for the Liberal Party as well, and carried it to help him carry, the presidential election. His brother in 64, and then also Hillary Clinton also won the line in 2000 and her Senate seat. So it's been a rich history. We were a part of getting a lot of legislation, progressive, across the country. Some of the ideas, civil rights, women's right to choose. Then even in New York State, consumer protection laws, rent control laws, legislation that got passed here. So we've been doing a lot to try to level the playing field in not only New York, but also kind of, spearheading it across the country.
And when you look across the country, there seems to be some systematic problems. When you look back at the last election, midterm elections, we did not see a lot of people come out to the polls. Voter apathy, a big thing. What's going on here? I mean, it seems as though the Democrats had a hard time getting people out to the polls, Republicans and liberals all across the board.
Right. And, it's interesting because, a lot of people that are in the millennial generation, my generation, identify themselves as liberals, but they're not involved in the political process. They don't come out to vote. They don't feel as though that the two-party system really is for them. And so a lot of what we do is not just, elections per se, but it's also, outreach, community events. We actually recently just did a suit and tie drive with Marcus Payne, who's a young millennial community activist up here in the Bronx, actually. And we're really trying to get out, we're trying to get out and outreach for kids, the younger generation, because we feel like, people are not involved. They're not voting, especially in New York State. We have some of the lowest voter turnout, and a lot of that is due to the fact that people just aren't engaged. They don't feel like the system is really for them and working for them. So that's really why we're trying to go out there and do events that actually help people. We're actually trying to work to get things done.
And one of the platform issues that you guys are concentrating on in the Liberal Party is dealing with the whole issue of student loans and debt and things of that nature. Something that affects young people. So in one way, you're also attacking the issue, but also I think you're also developing a base.
Sure. I mean, look, our base is people that are progressive, but, the student loan debt is something that is something that I'm concerned about, something a lot of young people are concerned about, because, here we are trying to go into the workforce and we're saddled with this burden, essentially. And, there isn't the government isn't really helping out, and, the economy hasn't been great, for middle class and just, for young people going into the workforce. So they're saddled with all this debt, and they're still trying to find a job, and it's very tough. It's difficult. And, we're actually, talking to students all across, New York State on college campuses, letting them know that, this is something that we're really concerned about, and this is a kind of issue that in the future we're really going to fight for, because we think it's really important.
Definitely an important issue. When you talk about student loans and you talk about young people, obviously income is a big thing. If you don't have income, then certainly you can't pay your student loans.
Right, totally.
And you guys have been pretty aggressive in dealing with income inequality.
Yeah, our thing really is just a level playing field. One of the things, there's actually a really great speech that Kennedy made about what is a liberal, and at the time, liberal was kind of a bad word, and at times through history that's been the case. But what he's saying is, what he said was that, if to be a liberal means that, education, should be for all people, and housing, economy, jobs. If this isn't available to everyone, that's what liberal is. That that everyone has the right and the ability, to live the American dream, essentially, and that's kind of our thing. That's what we're about.
How do you sell the liberal message to the public? When you have mostly Democrats or Republicans, and then here you are trying to be a liberal, and you're trying to get people to understand the Liberal Party agenda. How do you sell your message across the people?
Well, it's interesting because, as I said, in this state, voter apathy is high. Voting is low. A lot of people aren't voting. They're not involved in the political process. So we feel like there's a large percentage of people there that really do identify with us. They have progressive ideas, you know what I'm saying? But they are not tied to the Democrats or Republicans. And, in terms of our outreach, that's a lot of what we're doing. We're going to communities all over New York City and New York State, and we're talking to folks about us and try to re-emerging into the public consciousness.
And as far as the activities, you got things coming up around the corner.
Oh yeah. We're going to be partnering. I don't want to say partnering. We're being involved. We're going to do a little organizing, and we're going to help out with some spring cleanup that's going to be going on in the Bronx. And also, like I said, we're going to continue to talk to students, all over New York State and college campuses, all that good stuff. But I'm actually excited to do this Bronx cleanup because it's actually going to be us. Actually going out there in the community and rolling our sleeves up.
So we talk about the Bronx cleanup. People want to know more about it. Tell us a little bit.
Oh, yeah, sure. So we do have a Facebook page. I don't want to garble it, but I believe it's facebook.com/liberalpartyny. And then also, if you want more information, info@liberalparty.org. And and definitely like us. And our official website is www.liberalparty.org.
And you can find out all the information you need to find out there. Joshua, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us here.
Thank you, Daren, for having me.
Good. Joshua Valentine, who is